Confessions. You know, we all have things we'd like to get off of our chest. For me, I'd like to get off my chest that I have a surprise microphone. And the second thing I'd like to get off my chest is that I don't have a surprise camera. I don't. Just kidding, I do. Moving on. I found out my girlfriend of 3 years cheated on me. She's coming home to an empty apartment today and a note. Oh, man. You know what? One time I was with a girl for a very long time, and I came home to an empty apartment, and boy, did that sting. Neither of us cheated, though, so this is a completely different situation, but I do know what it's like to come home to an empty apartment, and that'll do it. I found out when she was at work on Monday. I work from home, and her iPad kept making notification sounds. She got... She got ratted out by an iPad? I don't know why that's so funny to me. An iPad. I went to go turn it off, and when I opened it, I saw all of the Facebook notifications from some dude, and they were definitely flirtatious and sexual, so I read through them. I couldn't believe it. She was 100% cheating on me with this guy for several months now. All those late nights at work or outings with the girlfriends must have been this dude. Oh, so it's not just messaging, it's actual interpersonal relations. Ugh. I didn't even know we were having problems or she wasn't happy. I had even bought a ring and was planning to propose. No, God. I was crushed and still am. I can't reconcile it. I went to the jewelry store and returned the ring and made arrangements to take today off of work. She's the primary on the lease, so I'm just moving into a buddy's house, and I rented a U-Haul and I'm loading everything I own in there and leaving. I also took some of the furniture we bought together, like our couches and our new TV. I have the receipts and they were bought with my card. However, she did give me half of the money. Is that fair? No, but neither is me being cheated on, so I think this balances out a bit, and I don't feel particularly bad about looting the more expensive electronics and furniture we bought together, given the circumstances. Also, I figure her new boyfriend could help her refurnish the apartment. Okay, that's a lot of anger. And you're taking stuff that she half paid for. Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I think once you bring finances into it, it makes it a little bit more finicky. You know, I wonder if she could have like legal recourse or something, or have a legitimate like financial, like legal reason to pursue you. Because if it's over $1,000 worth of shared things, the fact that you guys were together for 3 years means legally she could probably come after you because that was shared property. She could probably take you to small claims court and win. I wrote her a note telling her how I found out about all of her meetups with this other guy and that I'm not coming back. It legitimately bothers me how easy it is for her to do this level of betrayal and be a good enough actress to where I genuinely never suspected anything. I legitimately can't ever trust her again. Well, of course you can't trust her again. What I'm trying to figure out is, how are you going to trust other people again? How are you not going to be, you know, what kind of work are you going to do, my friend? What kind of work are you going to do to where you don't assume that everyone is like this? You know, that's the thing. Not trusting her again. That makes plenty of sense. But like, you know, you're going to want another relationship in the future, right? And that is tricky. This is tricky now. You know, you're in a situation where there's a person has done a bad thing. To my knowledge, I personally have not been cheated on, but what I understand about it is that people who have been cheated on, they carry that for a long time. And so I'm gonna need you, friend, to get to a therapist as soon as possible and try to do some preventative work, because if you aren't doing that preventative work, your next relationship is gonna suffer. Do not carry the things from this relationship into your next relationship. That's all I gotta say. Edit. I'm overwhelmed by how many positive comments there are and how many DMs I've gotten. Thank you all so much. It means more than you think it does. I'm doing okay, just sitting at my buddy's house, and I just finished unpacking. My phone would probably be blowing up by now if I didn't block her number. I just don't want to talk to her at all. I'm not interested in trying to rub it in or be petty. I just want her out of my life and to move on. I've heard from a few people that my ex is an absolute basket case right now and going apeshit trying to find me. She found the number from my brother's office, who is an attorney, and she went off on him, and he told her that if she contacts him or myself again, he'll file a restraining order, and hung up on her. One of her friends texted me and said what I did to her was cruel. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. This has happened to me one time. I'm not going to get into specifics, and I almost feel like I shouldn't even talk about it now. But what I will say is this. A person who doesn't respect your boundaries, a person who doesn't respect what you want out of a relationship, and thinking that they can flip it on after you've decided that you're done, that person, it has somewhat of a narrow narcissistic view, because they're so self-involved in pursuing their own wants and desires, including getting you back, that they don't like that they can't get you back. And so that's going to drive them nuts, because they are somewhat narcissistic. I told her I was ready to marry her and wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, and she was some guy behind my back for over 6 months as far as I can tell. What I did might have been cruel, but it wasn't as cruel as what she did to me. A buddy of mine and his girlfriend said he saw her at a bar getting shit-faced and breaking down until she got bounced. I don't take pleasure in it. I just want her to stay gone. Saying, like, just abandoning a girl, like getting rid of somebody from your life is cruel. In this situation, I don't think so. She's been cheating on him for 6 months out of a 3-year relationship. What is that, like 1/6 of the relationship? What percentage is that? Like 17.5%? I don't know. I'm not looking it up. Editor. Okay, great. Here's what this commenter says. One day, you're going to wake up, eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, and go about your business. And sooner or later, you're going to realize you haven't thought about it. None of it. And that's the moment you realize you can forget. That's what's up, dude. Work on your healing. You know what I'm saying? Work on your healing a little bit, because I want you to do some preventative work. I mean, this was 8 months ago, so he probably out there on the streets. He's probably out there on the streets. The streets eats. You know what I'm saying? On them dates, on Hinge, Tinder, Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? Hitting up people on the Uber Eats, giving them an extra tip. God, that was so much reverb. That ruined the joke. It wasn't even a good joke, but the reverb scared me a little bit. There was something about that reverb, to be honest with you guys. It scared me quite a bit. This is how I moved out of my ex-husband's house. He had been cheating and we'd been in therapy when I found out he was cheating again. And this time he'd been playing house with a woman and her children. So he pretty much had like a second family, dude. He had always traveled for work. No clue if he was really traveling or if he was bunking up with his girlfriend since this was during COVID. But he went out of town and I took my chance. My brother and my mom helped me move out in about 10 hours. I was so scared, and I remember once everything was packed, I just collapsed and allowed myself to be devastated for the life I was leaving. Yeah, because you were married. I mean, that's, marriage is a real commitment, dude. It's a real commitment. When you marry somebody, you have to convince yourself that this is, assuming you're not poly or something, you're convincing yourself that this is the one person that you want to be with forever. And the person that you've convinced yourself, you've convinced your family, you've convinced your friends, you've convinced your neighbors, everybody at the bar that you show your wedding ring to, you've convinced everybody around you that sorry, I'm with somebody I'm spending the entirety of the rest of my life with, breaks that trust. That sucks, man. I'm so sorry that that's happened to you, and that, the whole web of your social circle being affected by this person's infidelity is so, that's trash. I'm gonna play a little happy vibes real quick. Just a little happy little thing. I have no idea for lyrics, so I'm just gonna do positive affirmations. Trust, feeling, happiness,
going to the gym on a Sunday,
princess,
hydration, going to the gym on a Sunday,
princess,
element of surprise.
I stole $60,000 from a game show by inserting a pager in my butt. We've all been there. We've all stolen $60K from a game show with a pager in your butt. I was facing financial stress and needed to pay back loans. $60,000 would have and has solved all of my issues. My life has been a blessing since. I feel like this is already a little bit of like a lie, because most people who come into a large sum of money don't know how to deal with it. But I guess if this is just to pay stuff back, then I guess it makes sense. I appeared on a game show similar to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and would read the questions. My friend, who was sitting in the far corner, would page the pager on the correct answer. I could obviously feel the vibration, hence why I won $60,000. I wouldn't have made it past the third question otherwise. I haven't had to cheat since. Nor have I had the opportunity to do so, nor would I do so again. The top comment sort of relays what I'm thinking here. Is this a copy of the chess player using vibrating anal beads? Yeah, wasn't that a whole thing about somebody who was allegedly doing that? Or did he actually do that? I'm gonna look that up. Last year, Hans Niemann was accused of using anal beads during a tournament to beat the world champion Magnus Carlsen, who then released a statement outright denouncing his opponent as a cheat. Did it happen, though? Niemann denied the accusation, saying he's only cheated twice in his life when he was 12 and 16. Niemann filed a federal lawsuit against Carlsen and his company, and then they settled the defamation suit. Okay, so I guess that's just allegations. I guess that's not true, which, can you imagine? Also, I don't know how loud those things are, but I imagine they would be pretty noticeably loud in a chess match, right? I mean, aren't they generally quiet places other than the clacking of the pieces on the board? Like, wouldn't you hear a You know, somebody here asks, did you enjoy the vibration? To which Op responded, I was focusing. That's like somebody being like, you know, hey, welcome to the sex shop. Are you here for business or pleasure? And somebody's like, business. This is a movie. If it's not a movie, it should be a movie. What type of pager? Was the belt clip on it still? Any concerns for breech birth? Did you cut your friend in? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. What do pagers look like? Let's see. Hold on. Do they even have pagers anymore? Wow. What if it was this one? What if that was the pager he had in there? Yeesh. Did you know you could get a restaurant pager system for like 16 of them for $80? Do you know you could do that on Amazon? Jeez. I was a phone-a-friend on Millionaire in 2009. I got called and bumped my friend up from 50 to 100K. True story. It's on YouTube, but I'd be losing my anonymity if I shared it here. I've always wondered about the phone-a-friend. Were you at home waiting to see if your friend would call you during a certain time slot, or were you in the studio? Yeah, because I'm curious too if they like, what if the person doesn't pick up? The former, I waited for 2 hours with all my browser tabs loaded and ready. Yeah, that's what's up. I got the call, said something awkward. I'm autistic, LOL, and then it was off to the races. It was super obvious I was Googling things, and I told him I didn't know the answer until the last second I found it and shouted it out. Phone a friend didn't last much longer than that. They eventually moved to the experts in the studio. Reminds me of a scandal when a guy got caught cheating on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. His wife would cough the answers to him. Welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Your first question is 1 + 1 equals A, 3, B, 2. Aha! If you're talking about the scandal on the British show with Major Charles Ingram, his wife was in the audience and knew what he was doing and did interfere in one question with brazen coughing when he nearly locked in the wrong answer. But most of the collaborated cheating was with one of the other contestants who was sat in the fastest finger first section. His wife only had to get involved in that one question because his collaborator didn't know it and therefore didn't help. He got to 4,000 pounds by the end of the first episode he appeared in, having already used 2 lifelines and looking like a pretty average player. Between shows, he spoke with his collaborator and obviously came up with the scheme for the next recording. This was 2001, so it was not a foolproof plan. They couldn't use Google or anything. This guy was just a really knowledgeable quizzer who had tried to get on a few times before and actually would make it to the hot seat afterwards, ironically only winning $1,000. Producers became more suspicious as the show went on, but some admitted that if it had ended before the million, he may have gotten away with it. After winning, he and his wife were heard arguing in their dressing room, which was strange for a newly minted millionaire couple. Main theory is they planned to stop earlier so not to arouse suspicion, but he got carried away. Many shots of her in the audience toward the end. She looks visibly frustrated and annoyed. Last fact, I promise. His wife was also a contestant previously on the show, as was her brother. They both won 32,000 pounds, so the whole show was a bit of a family obsession. Sorry, this case has fascinated me in the past. I watched a full documentary on it and read loads about it, LOL. I wonder what that is. Hey, that'd be pretty cool. They made it to 1 million, though. At that point, is that a crime? Is that attempted thievery or burglary or something? He won the top prize on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and in 2001 was subsequently convicted in 2003 for cheating. The fines were later reduced on the appeal, but Ingram had to resign his commission and went bankrupt while Whittock lost his teaching post. Okay, so they lost their jobs and were shunned. That makes sense. My husband just put all of my makeup in resin, and I'm seriously contemplating divorce. Resin. Putting makeup in resin? Isn't that that's like the clear acrylic stuff, right? You do it to put interesting things inside of like a rose in resin is like a clear. Let me read. I honestly don't know where to start. I, female 27, work full-time as a nurse. Shout out to nurses. Everybody in my family's a nurse. I'm fairly new, so I'm getting paid just enough to pay for groceries, rent, utility, etc. My husband also works, but is part-time at his dad's pool cleaning business, and it's more of a job. I bet you live in Florida. This is the most Florida thing. Nurses. There's nurses everywhere in Florida. Pool cleaning business, you're in Florida. My husband also works, but it's part-time at his dad's pool cleaning business, and it's more of a job that he just does so he isn't bored around the house. I'm the breadwinner, and I'm completely fine with that. This matters, I promise, LOL. I was telling my husband the other day that I wanted to buy a spinning thing from Home Goods or something to put my makeup in instead of the makeup bag I've had since I was 14. One of those rotating things you could just have. I have one of those for meds in my bathroom. So the next day, while I was at work, he took it upon himself to get all of my makeup and put it in a circle dish and pour resin on it. You used all of her makeup, dude. Why not used bottles, used makeup bottles? You know what I'm saying? Get creative. Art is creativity. You don't want to ruin her functionality. Now she's not gonna have any makeup. When I got home, I asked him why he was covering it with a towel, not knowing what it was, and he said it was a handmade version of something I've been wanting. You ever been given something that you were like, if only you had just gotten me the thing that I asked for. Because I know it's less expensive than what you ended up giving me, and I know that it would have been easier to just get I sent you the link, but you had to make it about you. You know what I'm saying? You had to make it about you, and you had to get a little bit extra creative and do a workaround and then do this other thing when you could have just done the simple thing. Something really sweet happened recently on my birthday. My girlfriend put a candle in a cupcake, and she brought it out on a plate, and she sang happy birthday to me. It was just us. It wasn't something I expected. It wasn't something that I wanted. I wasn't like, oh man, I really hope. But that little gesture was like the sweetest thing ever. I would rather that than a gift. It really is the thought that counts. At the end of the day, at some point or another, it really is the thought that counts. So, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on this. I feel bad for the guy because he tried. When I got home, I asked him why he was covering it with the towel, not knowing what it was, and he said it was a handmade version of something I've been wanting, and I was super excited as I love handmade gifts more than anything store-bought. Today, he showed me it, and I was pissed. At first, I thought maybe he saved up and bought all the products I had, but he quickly told me, no, I just put all your makeup in this. That is such a man thing, dude. No, I just put it all in there. I just put it all in there. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. You like how I put it all? You like that? I told him not only do I not have any makeup left, which is something I enjoy doing in the morning or at night before I leave for my shift, but that we can't really afford for me to go buy new stuff right now. He said, oh, I didn't think about that. Sorry. Anyway, and went off rambling about something else. He literally did not give a flying freak. He doesn't understand why I'm so mad, even though I explained it like 10 times that the one thing I look forward to doing before work is ruined until I save up to go buy the makeup again. Makeup can get really pricey. It can get really expensive, to restock some of the stuff she's getting, especially like, every once in a while I get really shiny. So like I'll put a little powder on it from time to time, you know what I'm saying? I'll put on a little bit of primer, a little green, because my nose gets really red a lot of times. And that stuff is like, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks per thing. But if you've got palettes, you've got concealer, you've got foundation, you've got powder, you've got freaking eyeliner and mascara. Mascara can get crazy expensive. That stuff adds up to like hundreds of dollars. And the fact that she's the major breadwinner, that's tough, man. I don't know how much money he's making for his dad's pool company, but hundreds of dollars worth of makeup is hours and hours of labor just to pay for something that she already had. I chalk this one up to boy being dumb. That's what I do. I chalk it up to boy being dumb. I feel like his intentions were right. He wasn't malicious. I think let him learn this experience. Guys, sometimes we need to know, everybody, sometimes if you feel like something is not a big deal and somebody else tells you that it's a big deal to them, it's hard for you to latch on to it sometimes. Some people think this way. I used to think this way, where I was like, that's not a big deal. And somebody would be like, no, it's a big deal to me. And I'm like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? I used to be that guy. My entire life changed when I learned if somebody tells you that something is important to them, turns out they mean it. And the fact that it's the one thing that she looks forward to, and by her own feelings, she's going to go to work and she's going to be thinking, man, I look busted, man. I look bad. I don't look good. She's not going to be confident working her 12-hour shift at the hospital. I said the only way he could make it up to me is to save from his job so I can go buy the makeup, and he said that's dumb and I can live without it. I feel bad I'm so upset about something so materialistic when he just wanted to make me a homemade gift. What do? I'm seriously contemplating divorce. It's more than the makeup. It's the audacity to do this and react this way when he's not the one who has to go buy all the stuff again. That's true. I mean, his homemade gift kind of puts you in the hole. Now suddenly you owe, theoretically, hundreds of dollars because of a gift he made you. When the gift that you're giving something costs them money to fix or maintain. It's like gifting a dog to somebody who can't afford it. I see a lot of people wondering why he put it in resin. He basically made one of those spinny things I wanted, but with my makeup in it, so it's more aesthetic, in his words. It's so sweet, but I'm so upset and I don't know what to feel. I think you're allowed to feel, this is me, I feel like you're allowed to feel conflicted because it was a gift. It was a homemade gift. Clearly he put thought in. I think that day his brain was just working at 50% capacity. I'm not going to don't tell him you're looking for a changing table when you'll have a baby. Okay, so he's just going to put a bunch of babies in a changing table in resin. Can you explain to the room how burying all of your makeup in resin is a checks notes gift? I love that thing when people type checks notes. I just think it's such a silly, like, little visual, Can you explain how it's a gift? Yeah, I just don't get the resin. It is one of the stranger things I've read in a while. Oh, hey, you know how you like your makeup? Well, I froze it in a block of resin so you can look at it. Her. I love my cat so much. Him the next day. I killed your cat and had it stuffed, so now you can have it forever. Boy's a keeper. What the fuck? Great. In other news, I just got my period and made a batch of cookies to enjoy after I finished some work, only to find out my boyfriend ate every single one of them. He got home from work while I was in the other room finishing up some tasks, and when I finally came out, I found the entire plate of cookies I had baked earlier was gone. I didn't even get a single one. Oh, you know what? Before I keep reading, this is what I think happened. I think he got home and he's like, oh my God, she made me cookies. Because it was on a plate. You know, if I got home, I'd be like, damn, she really whipped me up a batch of cookies. Wow, what a sweetie. I'm not gonna lie. If this is a trap, I have fallen into that trap. Meaning I will have fallen into that trap. This would be me. I didn't even get a single one. Okay, now there at that point, I'd leave a couple cookies because you'd never know. Now we're completely out of cookie dough, and I'm feeling so emotional and hormonal right now. I had a whole plan to relax with those cookies and unwind, but my boyfriend's snack attack completely ruined it. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. You know what? He owes you a little DoorDash, a little Uber Eats, a quick trip to the grocery store. Get those Toll House mini cookies, dude. Those little Toll House minis for like $5, $6. They're so good. Oh, man. Oh, let me show you. These things right here. If you've never had these, they slap so hard. They're $5. Oh, they slap so good. Oh! They slap so hard like a... Let me do a little something. Tiny little cookie, tiny little cookie, tiny little cookie, tiny little cookie. Eat a tiny little cookie, tiny little cookie. Eat a Toll House cookie, tiny little cookie. Eat a mini chocolate chip, tiny little cookie. And then put it in your belly. Tiny little cookie, tiny little cookie. You know what? I hope that throughout your week, throughout the rest of your week, I want you to enjoy the tiny little cookies of your life. Okay, listen. If you haven't checked it out yet, I did this new setup thing where I'm talking to Jack's Films. This is like a podcast pilot kind of a thing. I'm going to be talking to a few different people, doing it in a few different formats. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's an hour-long thing. You know, just pop it on while you're cooking or pop it on when you're about to go to sleep or something. We have a really fun conversation. Yeah, leave me a comment on if you saw that, what you thought. Otherwise, bye.